Hi, I'm Mario Guerra, the two-time former mayor of the great city of Downey. And I'm here with my co-host, Eric Pierce, the editor of the Downey Patriot. And you're listening to Talking Downey with Mario.
And Eric.
Hey, what's happening?
Oh, not much. How you doing?
There's a lot going on. What do you mean not much?
There's a lot going on.
This and this and this and all kinds of stuff.
It feels like it's been a very long week, and we're taping this on Wednesday, but it feels like it's been a very long week already.
Yeah. So we always want to talk the day after a council meeting, kind of to recap for the listeners and for the viewers of the council meeting.
No, I'm guilty because I looked at the agenda. I didn't see anything really stand out to me, so I didn't watch. You did watch the meeting, and apparently I missed a few things.
You're right. There really wasn't anything. It was mostly consent agenda item, but a lot of stuff happened that just listening to the council members' comments, and they had 22 speakers. One of the agenda items was about permit parking in South Downey, and the vote really surprised me how the vote came out. And then, of course, we talked about the terrible shooting that happened and what other people were thinking in downtown Downey about it. So
why don't we start there?
Okay.
Because that was a very big incident that happened. So early Saturday morning, I'm sure everybody knows about this by now, shooting over at Mambo Grill. 4 people were hit. 4 people were hospitalized. I heard this morning, as of today, 3 people were released from the hospital.
Yes.
1 remains hospitalized. Suspect was arrested.
Right.
So bigger picture, this led into a conversation initiated by the mayor, Mayor Claudia Frometa, about safety, public safety in downtown Downey. She talked about maybe installing cameras. She talked about possible curfews, things that that the city council would consider in the interest of public safety.
Right. So it came out last night too that what happened is this gentleman and that's a loose term, this man and his girlfriend were belligerent inside Mambo Grill. And they refused to sell him more alcohol because he had passed his limit and so forth. And he was causing a disturbance, so they asked him to leave. So he leaves and he goes to his car and starts driving southbound on Downey Avenue and puts his gun outside the window and starts shooting through the window into Mambo Grill. What a asinine thing to do and terrible thing to do. So, but it came up last night. So Mambo Grill had followed all their security. Every place like that has to have a security protocol with the Downey Police filed, and the Downey Police inspects it, meets with them, and so forth.
Right.
So they did have 4 armed security there. That's part of it. So they were in compliance with everything. This gentleman was from Simi Valley. It's interesting is because Downey Police, man, they're awesome. They work through the night. They get every video and so forth. They asked for my building video there. I got a call on Sunday about it because the car was driving right down into the video camera. So, on Monday, within 2 days, they arrest this man in Simi Valley. We have him under custody. Yeah. But then it brings up the question, is it safe in downtown? What's the situation with all these resto bars that we have? And then people are blaming, ojos locals. I mean, come on, it's a block down the street. It's got nothing to do with that. We've never had an incident like that, thank goodness.
Right.
So now everything kind of came into question.
Now, the interesting conversation is what the city does in response to it. I know you've spoken to downtown business owners. There is a little bit of a fear of overreaction with the curfew because, let's talk about Mambo Grill. They had 4 armed security guards because of the clientele that they attract to that location. And so I think they don't want to be, they don't want to go public, but there's business owners who would prefer that the city deal with problem tenants as opposed to passing a blanket legislation and punishing everybody, because downtown's come a long way in the past couple of years, and you don't want just one problem restaurant to ruin it for everybody.
Right. And it's just one problem. So I think they have to look at everything. How many incidences they've had throughout the street there. I mean, those are all numbers that they can work with the Downey police. So it came very clear last night. Mayor Fermetta was very strong. Mayor Pro Tem Trujillo took it a step further, and he wants to make sure that we even prosecute or put people in jail, because he says that there's been no action on folks when it starts now on October 1st. This is coming from the state and the DA. If you the no bail policy, so if you arrest somebody for grand theft auto, okay, normally you'd be arrested and you'd have a $35,000 bail. So under this new dictate on there, you get arrested right now. We arrest you, put you in handcuffs, take all the information, and then we release you with a please appear for no reason. Just right now, for you stealing a car through grand theft. So there's some big crimes that now there's no punishment for. So Mayor Pro Tem Trujillo was saying he wants our police department and our city to look at, can we put them in jail here for the 48-hour hold, because we have the facilities there and so forth. So that was kind of an interesting thing. Kind of interesting because he worked for, DA George Gascon. So that's kind of like almost kind of a reverse on that. Councilmember Hector Sosa was also of the same. He raises 2 kids here. He's raising them. This is a safe city, and law and order needs to come back. We need to have law and order. They talked about more police officers, but we're budgeted for 6 more right now, I believe. The one thing for the Downey Police Department is that we always look for hiring the best. So can we fill those positions in a hurry? Probably, but it's not the long-term or the good cops that we've always had. So we are a little bit more diligent in how we hire. It's paid off for us on there, but I believe it's 6 short from what we're already budgeting. So yeah, we can always use more police officers.
So money's not an issue.
It doesn't seem to be, although Mayor Fermetta brought up is this half-cent sales tax. If we had it, it could bring $2 million to do that. So I don't think we were doing a increased sales tax type of thing. And what didn't pass last time was the occupancy tax, which I'm a little bit disturbed from us residents. Maybe the city didn't sell it right. But it's an occupancy tax for the hotels here. So it's paid for by the other folks that are staying in the hotel. I don't want to charge them up the wazoo for that, but they should have had, we residents should have passed that. That was like a no-brainer. We're well below the occupancy tax in LA County or any place else on there. So that's revenue that we could have to do some more of these things. But,
So we'll see. I mean, the discussion is going to continue. I think everybody obviously wants our residents to be safe. No matter, downtown Downey or any part of Downey. It's just a matter of how we get there and not jumping to conclusions too quick.
So, it's interesting. So during the public comment, there was also 22 people that spoke. And what they do is, which I don't know if I agree with it completely, but they do, they give 30 minutes for public comment. So if you have 22 people that got their card, they each only get 2 minutes. You only limit it to 30 minutes, which I don't know. We didn't do that. We always used to have as long as it took. I understand because of certain gadflies and idiots that come up there. But I don't know, 2 minutes. Some people that were literally talking about the parking thing on the agenda were really cut short in it, and very, homeowners, normal, this is where you file your grievance kind of thing and stuff. So they had 22. They had 8 regarding this permit parking situation for the Southeast Downey. And then they had several that talked about public safety, several critiqued the council, and several others then even critiqued those locals. So anyways, I just thought that was kind of interesting. One gadfly that didn't adhere to the city attorney's request and so forth did get escorted out after several warnings. And then they had to clear everybody. And then you have the usual gadflies. There's 2 or 3 other gadflies that then come back and start, making derogatory remarks.
I remember when you were on the council that sometimes the public comment would go, past an hour longer. It will be the meetings would go super late. I didn't mind it. That's the opportunity for the public to address their elected representatives. But I get it though.
Yeah.
I get it because people now are disruptive and they're vulgar, and it's not a respectable place anymore. So I completely understand. I don't like it, but I completely understand what happens.
So something else when somebody brought up, God, I can't believe I'm even saying it again, but Mayor Fermenta did bring up that the city is going to enforce the dress code on all those locals and other establishment, and they're working with them. So I don't know what that means, but that was kind of interesting. And the enforcement of overnight RVs. There's a lot of overnight RVs, but it takes some process. They're ticketing them, but it's going to take a process to get rid of them. But they are aware of it, which we're all glad.
Now, what I would like to see is more of an effort, and maybe the city is doing this, is not just issuing citations, but offering them services, because people are living in the RVs, especially on Woodruff. You'll see
that's what they said.
Multiple RVs.
That's where
on
the
there.
residents were on there.
They're living in the RVs because they have to. Yeah. I'm sure, not because they want to.
It always comes down to and you get it, and there's that humanitarian part. You're right about offering that, but then it's like, NIMBY, not in my backyard kind of thing. So I think you start with one and build towards the other. I'm not sure which, chicken or the egg kind of thing.
Because you cite them, they're just going to move somewhere else. I mean,
But to be honest with you, there's some residents, and again, self-serving, if you will, that's okay. Take it to another city kind of thing.
Sure.
I'm not saying that's the right thing.
Right.
But I think if you gave everybody a choice on there, everybody says, as long as they're not, creating crime in my city. I'm not.
No, I get it. I get it. I just want to help them. So to actually fix the problem.
Yeah, but the problem, Eric, though, it's so big, and it's so much in L.A. and it's so much. I mean, we are the homeless capital of the world, so we have to be vigilant. We can't fix it all, but we can protect little old Downey. So you have them on Marina Del Rey, you have them on Venice Boulevard, you have all these issues, and so how can we can help them? We can help a few, but then it keeps getting bigger. So I think we just have to enforce our laws and then try to be as compassionate as we can.
Yeah.
But that's the problem. We're only a small little thing, and we're living next to the giant problem that's 10 miles away from us.
Right.
Right. But anyway.
What else happened?
So the parking permits, there was a big discussion on. There was a pilot program to give houses parking permits in certain areas down in South Downey. And I guess people on Bellflower Boulevard can't park on the street, so they allowed 7 or 8 houses to also have it. So of course, some of the residents that came out, I understand. They don't want, people that have a permit from 3 blocks away to be able to park in front of your house. Takes away your parking, your trash. You don't know how long they're going to be there. You don't know who they are. That kind of stuff on there. So a little bit of that. But it was ironic. So they came out that it's a pilot program. They're going to try it out for 18 months and see what happens, and then come back to the council. But I thought the one that was Mr. Parking was Councilman Tim Horn. And he's the only one that voted against it. And I thought he's the one that brought it forward, so he must not like it. But he didn't make a case against it.
Yeah.
I listened to their comments between the Mayor Pro Tem, and Councilman Sosa. But I just found it interesting.
Yeah,
that was
interesting.
His big thing was that.
What do you think of the program? I have my opinions.
I think it always is going to cause, it's going to keep pushing it down the street on there. It's always going to be that. We had a problem with the apartments on Imperia over there by Dinwiddie, and we built a long wall to kind of protect the neighborhood, to kind of push in the apartments on there. It's an ongoing problem. What do you think?
So I don't support the parking program. So here's my issue. So it's basically the homeowners who object to the apartment residents parking on their street. They're taking up the street parking. It's a problem. I get it. My problem is that the streets are public. It's public parking. It doesn't belong to the homeowners. And then 2, I think I think we're giving special treatment to homeowners
It was
above.
brought up last night. One of the council members said that. She
Sure.
goes, "Hey, let's be factual. We are giving preferential treatment to the homeowners on there, and we know we are because of
Right.
this, and that." So
And you're punishing the people who live in apartments because they're not parking on the street because they want to. Like in a perfect world, their complex would have enough, sufficient parking. They're parking on the street because they have to. And if you don't let them park on this particular street, they're going to park on the next street, not because they're trying to be a nuisance, but because they have to park somewhere. Most of them are hardworking people who have jobs and no different than anybody else. But where are they supposed to park?
yeah.
It's not fixing the problem, I think, and I don't like the preferential treatment.
Well, the only thing is that they made it clear that it's a pilot. So we'll see. But it was overall the council meeting was interesting. When again you had, a whole bunch of consent items and so forth, and it should have been a snap, but it turned out I guess they had a full crowd last night. It was good to see they brought in the new youth commissioners. Those are legacy things that you look back. I'm sorry, I don't mean to brag about it, but that was mine. When I brought in the youth commissioners, because I heard about it once up in the Bay Area, and I instituted it here, and I had support from other councils. So when you see that so many years later, and they're appointing the new youth commissioners, I'm like,
It's
hey,
still continuing.
that was my baby, and I kind of wanted to continue. Good for us, as a city.
Good for them. And it's funny because I've seen some of those youth commissioners go on to college and to do really good things, within their career. So it's kind of neat to see.
Yeah, it gives them an opportunity to be involved on there. So the other big news that happened today here in Downey, and this is the appropriate place, the Downey Warren game. The Downey Warren game is coming up, I believe, 2 weeks from Friday.
October 13th.
October 13th. It's always a sellout. It's huge. It's the rivalry. Downey Warren. This year it's going to be a Downey High on there. So it goes back and forth. Our city goes crazy. We've been on TV together. Sellout. Amazing vibrancy. The city of Downey is alive and well. And then this year, a new element. They were working on this last year. Okay, with Bosco versus Mater Dei and Downey Warren about being the first high school to play at SoFi Stadium. So guess what? This year, they will be, Downey versus Warren will be at SoFi Stadium in the very first high school football game there on Friday the 13th.
How exciting for the kids.
I know. They get to go to be in the same locker rooms as the pros and everything.
Playing
else.
on a professional football field.
Yeah.
The cheer teams are going to be there too.
Yeah.
It's going to be great for the students.
Yeah, I'm really excited about it. On there, I was supposed to, as civilian aide to the secretary, I was supposed to present a big check to Armando Ramirez, the young man that's now at Loyola, $250,000 scholarship I was giving him from the Minuteman. So we were going to do it at halftime of the Downey Warren game. So I hope they're going to carry it over there, but just on a bigger stage. But we wanted to publicize it to this Downey high school kid, and look, this happens there.
Somebody did ask me. Sorry, let me interrupt. Somebody asked me too this morning. Usually, the Downey Foundation for Educational Opportunities uses the Downey Warren game as a fundraiser.
Right.
They'll sell like sideline VIP passes. I wonder if they'll be able to do it at SoFi. I don't know.
Yeah, I do know the school district had to subsidize some things, and they will be helping Downey High because again, it's always whatever school that they count that into their budget because it is that game becomes a fundraiser. So I know Downey Unified is going to subsidize some of those things, and I'll see Dr. Brosmer tomorrow night at the Columbia Memorial Board meeting. I'll ask him too. I'm kind of curious myself.
I'm excited. My only concern is I don't know how many people are going to show up from like an audience perspective because SoFi is such a big stadium.
Yeah.
I'm curious what the atmosphere is going to be in a stadium that big.
Right.
I don't know, but
I saw it this morning. I read so the students and parents will have first choices and so forth, and then the general public will be put on Ticketmaster the normal way and stuff like that. But I always remember there was a young man when I was in high school, and I was a good friend with a young man that played football for Bosco, okay, Mike. And Bosco was good and then not good, and now they're great. But he got to play in what they call the Fog Bowl at the Coliseum. And it was a foggy night for the CIF championship. But he told me, so he got to be at Merlin Olsen's locker. And Merlin Olsen had left, back then you didn't wear all the equipment, but there was, the white medical tape that you would tape your wrist.
Yeah.
So Merlin Olsen had left a roll of tape in his locker. And Mike told me he was able to use that and forever. His name, Mike DeCero was a gentleman's name. So, he's got to be my age now. Anyways, but that made his career, if you will. Not career, but a memory you'll never forget. Yeah. So the Warren and the Downey High School, the students, the coaches, they're going to have an experience that they're never going to forget. So for me, cool. That's awesome.
It's really cool.
They're going to talk about their kids with that.
Yeah. No, I remember. I think it was 1956 when Downey played in the CIS championship at the Coliseum. Yeah. And I know some of the guys who were on that team, and they still talk about playing at the Coliseum. Yeah. They're going to be talking about SoFi forever.
Yeah. But you know what? You know what's funny is because you always want to be the first. So they're going to be forever the first high school game at SoFi. So 25 years from now, so these kids are 16, 17, 18. So let's say they're 18, 25, they'll be, 43 years old and telling their kids, I was the first one.
First high school.
So I don't have any of that. I have a reverse one. I was the last class not to be ordained in the cathedral.
Really?
The new beautiful cathedral of Our Lady of the Angels. Yeah. So our 2002, our ordination was going to be in June. So we were asked, because the dedication of the cathedral was going to be in September 2002. So they asked us whether we wanted to wait or, if not. And we had a pretty large class that year in the seminary. And we all took a vote. And unanimously were like, no, let's just get it over with.
How funny.
So we were ordained June 2002 at St. Mary's in Simi Valley. Not Simi Valley, in Camarillo. Because there was a brand new place and big enough. But we have this distinction. We were the last one not to be.
The last one not to. How funny. That's very funny.
Anyways. All right, sir. Well, listen, we're going to do this show will drop on Friday. We got a couple other ones to drop. We're going to continue a little bit of our coverage on the candidates. I want to talk about that for a second.
Sure.
So we've taken, or I've taken a lot of heat lately for some of the discussions on the candidates and so forth. So 2 years ago, we took a lot of heat, the city did, for not vetting a certain candidate, okay? And how can nobody vet it or do this on there? So we kind of took it upon ourselves like, listen, we're going to not let that happen again for our citizens. So yes, we have our preferences, but we want to be fair to every single person. So we're vetting everybody, and then we're letting you know. And now all of a sudden I'm the bad guy because I'm giving you facts. So I just want you to know that. We'll continue to, because I'm a big boy and we'll do on there. You don't like politics. To me, this is public service announcements, if you will. So we have a couple more shows that we're going to do about the candidates and so forth. Hopefully just, giving you information about their voting record and what the thoughts and so forth. The candidates forum last week, we'll have a show about that, kind of talk a little bit about what distinguished them. They all sounded like they voted the same way, but there's a big difference between all of them. So, anyway.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff happening in Downey. Yeah. And I think the problem that we're having is that there's too much to talk about now. What do we talk about? There's so much going on at Downey. It's a good thing. But you're right. Election coming up. Events are coming up. I'll look for you at Havana Nights.
So I will be there coming back. That was, something I'm real proud of. That was part of my legacy there for having starting that. And we did it three different nationalities because I didn't want to be accused of being impartial or being partial. But Havana Nights seemed to be the one that's stuck.
And
You know?
I'm really happy that they moved Havana Nights down to the street because they used to be up on the parking garage, and it was just kind of dirty up there and a little smelly.
This you get this space out. I'll tell you, we had the flags a couple of weeks ago, basically a whole bunch of different flags in the street decorated for the International Food Festival. So Monday morning when I was driving here to my office and I stopped at the stop sign, I'm like, oh wow, those are all Cuban flags. So yes, I am a refugee. Yes, I am an immigrant. I came over on a freedom flight. So when you see I am proud to be an American. Okay, that's one of the proudest things. I voted every single day since I became 18. But when you still see we all come from somewhere, right? I mean, no matter what nationality, whether you're first, second, third generation, somewhere somebody started it here. So we all prideful of where our families, our heritage is. So for me to see the Cuban flags, all the little Cuban, like, oh, that's kind of cool.
Sure.
It was kind of fun to see that.
Yeah.
I literally pulled over and took a quick photo.
It adds a good element to Downey Avenue, for sure.
Yeah. So anyway, so that's good.
Yeah, good stuff.
All right. Well, listen. Stay tuned. You're watching this probably this Friday, and we will be doing some other shows in between. So just stay vigilant, stay involved, keep listening, keep reading. We welcome your comments. We actually watched the comments. We had 61 comments the other day on something, mostly negative about me, and I'm okay with
What else
that.
is new?
Yeah, what else is new? Hey, I'm a politician. I've been hit so many times. As long as you're honest, if you're lying about something, we're going to take it down.
Look, and I'm going to say, I really don't read the comments.
Yeah.
I tried, look, no offense, but if I try to read some of the comments, and it almost gives me a stroke.
Yeah.
Like it's so like incomprehensible what some people write. There's some really good comments.
Yes.
But there's some really bad comments, and it's people trying to be cute who hide, behind, being anonymous. They feel they can say whatever it is that they want to do. I lose like brain cells reading it.
Yeah.
So, but for the actual like intelligent comments, I appreciate those. I don't even care if I agree with it, but if you put a little bit of effort into your comment, I don't want to come across like I don't appreciate people who comment.
Right.
But some people are just really nasty because they feel they can hide behind a computer screen.
Or they don't get the facts right.
Right.
They're just so far off the facts on there. I had a comment, I was thrown out of St. Raymond's, and that's why I'm in Pasadena now. There's 10 years. First of all, I wasn't thrown out, but there's 10 years. There's some kid named Brandon that he just makes up stuff and puts it on there. Anyways, I'm like, at least know some factual things on there. And anyways, but you're right. I listened.
But leave a comment
on there. Well, if they're unfactual, you leave a comment. I'm
not gonna read it.
I will. I'll read them. And so, hey, you got a little diss not too long ago because and that's perfectly okay. About somebody texted me that they wanted to see if that was really my cell number on there. And I said, we appreciate you doing that on there. And they didn't say anything negative about you, but I thought that was I wanted to throw that in. So
that's
yes,
funny.
talkingdowney@gmail.com is our email address, and I gave you my cell number. You're always welcome to, and we look forward to it. So anyways, thanks for listening to this episode of Talking Downey with Mario
and Eric.